Hello everyone, welcome back to Interpreter of Maladies Part 6. Let us refresh your memory. Last class's lesson tells about the Das family's visit to Sun Temple at Konark and to the hills at Udayagiri and Khandagiri. Mr. Kapasi's attraction to Mrs. Das continued. He continued to dream about their relationship in future, but all his ideals about Mrs. Das were shattered when she casually revealed to him that her younger son, Bobby, was not her husband's son. Now let us continue the story. After the shocking revelation to Mr. Kapasi, Mrs. Das tells him how she and Mr. Das met, fell in love, and got married. Raj and Meena, that is, Mr. and Mrs. Das, got married when they were studying at the college itself. They studied together in school. Their parents were friends too. Thus, they got ample opportunity to spend time together and explore each other. They married so young and had a baby. Very soon, her life became tied around the child. Her life became routine and boring. One day, a Punjabi friend of Raj came to stay with him for a week. One afternoon, he and Meena had a sexual union from which Bobby was conceived. He is now in London, married to a Punjabi girl. Both families still remain friends, and the man doesn't know that he is the father of Bobby. Mr. Kapasi was curious why she revealed this secret to him. She also requested him to stop calling her Mrs. Das. She is 28 and Mr. Kapasi was old enough to be her father. Understanding that Meena viewed him as a parent, Kapasi was disappointed. So, to his question why she revealed this secret to him, to this she answers that she told him because of his talents. Kapasi is still confused. Now Meena asks him, what does he think about what she said? For that past 8 years, this terrible secret remained within her. Now she told Kapasi this secret because she thought that as an interpreter of maladies of others, he will be able to understand another person and thereby offer a relief. She says that it is terrible for her to look at the children and Raj. She feels an urge to throw away her life, an urge to throw away everything she owns. And now, what was Kapasi's reaction to what she said? Mr. Kapasi felt depressed and sad to comment on her confession. He felt sad to see Mr. Das walking along with the children without knowing that one of his sons is not his, what he should tell her. Perhaps he ought to tell her to confess everything to her husband. Then she may get some relief. Mr. Kapasi asked her whether what she feels is pain or guilt. To this, she didn't answer anything properly. She was about to say something, but she didn't say. She opened the door of the car and got out and walked up the path. See, to comment about the today's portion, the revelation was in fact a shock to Mr. Kapasi that Bobby was not Mr. Das' son. It shattered all the image that Mr. Kapasi held within the mind about Mr. Mrs. Das. The story behind the conception of Bobby was that after a child was born, her life became so boring and monotonous, and she lived within the domestic atmosphere of their house. And one day, a Punjabi friend of Raj visited, and they had a sexual union from which Bobby was conceived, and the secret was kept within her mind for 8 years without even without telling even to the real father of the child. So she wanted a relief. She wanted to say it to somebody. And in Kapasi, she saw the apt person to tell the secret because he is an interpreter of maladies. Being an interpreter of maladies, she thought that he will be able to understand the pain of another person. Thereby, she expected that he will be able to offer a relief. But she didn't know that Kapasi was in fact falling in love with her. Kapasi was not able to uh, comment on the secret. So he felt very depressed to hear this particular news about the woman he started to love. And moreover, he felt sad to see Mr. Das quite innocently walking along with the children without knowing that one of his sons is not his. And to the question he asked whether she is feeling pain or guilt, she didn't say anything, and she walked out of the car without being able to say anything. So, by the next class, we will be able to conclude the story. So, I will summarize today's portion like this. To summarize today's portion, Mrs. Das explains to Mr. Kapasi the story of how she and Mr. Das met, fell in love, and married. The life of a housewife made her remain at home. Once a friend of Mr. Das came to stay with them for a week. When Bobby was conceived, she told the secret to nobody, even to that man. She told Mr. Kapasi after 8 years because she felt that he will be able to understand the mind of others, being an interpreter of maladies. But Kapasi is unable to comment on it. He felt sad when he saw Mr. Das along with the children. So we are stopping here.